Johnna, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thanks for having me.
How crazy has your life been now that Motorheads is out?
Well, I've been like definitely a little bit glued to my phone just because like I don't know, the cast we're all sending each other stuff and talking and it's been really nice and yeah, it's good that it's finally out there. There's a sense of relief and pride and all that stuff. So yeah, no, it's been a crazy week, but I'm so happy for it.
It's got a good feedback from what I've read so far. The reviews have been good on it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the audiences are really, really liking it. My friends and family are definitely loving it, so that's been really nice to hear. No, I think that people are really liking it. Yeah, there's something for everyone. I don't know, you'll find something that you love about it.
Right, right. What's been the reaction with like fans and your role as Kiara?
Well, Melissa and I have been sending each other like TikToks that we find of our characters, and
Okay.
that's been really fun. Like all the TikTok edits and people just commenting and saying how much they love them and all the other characters too. Like I don't know, I just think the fan reception's been really awesome and definitely a bonus. You don't really expect it or try to expect it. You try to keep a pretty open mind, but everyone's really loved it and it's been fun sending each other the TikToks and stuff that we
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people have some great way to do things on TikTok.
I know. Yeah. They're very creative with their song choices and all that. It's honestly awesome. I was just watching some earlier with my family and we were just yeah, loving them.
That's awesome. Did you originally go for it for Kiara, or was there another role that you went in for? How did this happen?
Yeah, I was always Kiara. It was my
Okay.
first yeah, I had a tape for her and I did a couple of the scenes. One of them was the Firefly Festival scene.
Hmm.
And then I had a Zoom like meeting callback type of thing and then we had our read through. So it was pretty straightforward in terms of what my involvement would have been with Kiara and yeah, I'm so glad she's like the perfect character for me.
So you did when you did the self tape, what were you given for like description?
I was given it said that she was the daughter of the mayor and she was
Yeah.
the popular girl at school and she's torn between her new friends and her popular crowd and so that was kind of the basis that they sent me and then the scenes from the context that I gleaned, I could tell that she was into Melissa and or Caitlin, um, and yeah, kind of everything else I got was through context and when I finally read the script, that as well.
How bad did you want this role after you did the self tape, you read the scripts and everything?
I loved this role from the moment I read it. Honestly, like there sometimes you're auditioning a lot and you get like one of those tapes every once in a while that you just read and you're like, I have to be a part of this and I really, really want to
Mm.
do this. And the Firefly scene was one of those scenes that I read that I was like, that would be so special. Like imagine shooting and I could envision the night shoots with all the glowing and I just knew I really wanted it, honestly. And like reading also about the racing and the cars, it was a world that I wasn't that aware of before.
Mm.
So it was also like a little learning experience.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna ask you, like, what was the research you put in after, you booked the role, it's got to do about like car racing also, like, what kind of research did you put into it?
Well, what's funny is it takes place in a fictional town in Pennsylvania, Ironwood, but it's a small
Yeah.
town in Pennsylvania. And both of my parents grew up in small towns in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
And I used to go every summer. And I remember when I read that too in the little breakdown of the script, I was like, oh, I know exactly where this place is, and I know these people, and I know these towns. So in terms of research, I feel like I had a lot of life experience to draw on just knowing those people. And there's a lot of car culture over there, and I would hear stories growing up about my uncles and my mom's cousins that all raced and did all those crazy things. And I had a lot of life experience and people to ask about it. So that was kind
Mm.
of mainly my thing.
Mm. How much of yourself did you pour into this character, would you say?
Oh, a lot of me. Definitely a lot of a younger version of me, a high school version of me.
Yeah.
Like her kind of tendency to always be smiling and wearing this kind of endless positivity and because she has all these friends and she's part of this popular crowd and
Yeah.
there's a lot of expectations on her and I was maybe popular for like a couple months in high school but it didn't last very long and I definitely didn't like belong there um so and it wasn't I wasn't being my true self when I was in high school so I put a lot of that into Kiara. She's always chameleon to whoever she's
Mm,
with, and that I could definitely relate to as a teenager.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
teenage years were rough. I mean, I don't know I mean, I'm sure I'm a lot older than you, but it was tough times being a teenager.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked being a teenager. And it's so funny too, because I audition for teenagers a lot, because I'm very young. And and every time I go for one, I have to relive my high school experience, which is so funny. But it's really nice and cathartic to draw from. And I've been now in two high school dances on screen, and I've been in, a couple different high school scenarios on screen, and
Yeah.
it's always just a trip going back to those days and remembering what it was like and what I wore and how I acted. And yeah, it's always really fun to do, but
Mm.
great crazy because being a teenager is so awful sometimes, like most of the time.
So now, if you could go back in time, is there one thing you would tell yourself?
Yeah, I would just say stop caring, like, because
Yeah.
I feel like I got there early, maybe probably halfway through freshman year. I just decided I don't know why I care so much about why these people like me, and I'm changing so many parts of myself to fit into this. And
Mm.
it's honestly a blur because I was trying so hard. And when once I let go of that, I found a much easier life and a much happier life. So I
Mm.
would definitely just go back and be like, oh, just drop it earlier. Just be you, just be
Right.
crazy. I had all these, like, I don't know, I had all these like secret lives, like, that I just didn't tell my school friends about, or that I didn't tell my theater
Mm.
friends about. And it's yeah, it's interesting.
Mm. And now they
Thank you
see
for
you
that.
on TV.
And now they're seeing me on TV playing Homecoming Queen, which is so funny.
So what's great about this character too, like she's got her quiet moments, and then she's also like, she's got a lot of courage that we see through Defiance. Like, how did you approach balancing like those different qualities of Kiara?
My question that I would ask myself every day before shooting was, who am I? What part am I playing today? And
Mm,
she has a few that she cycles between. Mayor's daughter, Noah's girlfriend,
mm,
Alicia's best friend, homecoming, that kind of stuff. And so that was kind of my question every day that I would start with, is which part am I playing? And that would kind of dictate the energy that I went into whatever scene I was shooting. And the fun part of that, obviously, is that when I'm with Caitlin, it's not a part and it's just her. And so often those more gregarious and happy versions of her, they're sort of a mask. And that's why she's smiling so much. And she's, just kind of going with what people are saying. And then the scenes with Caitlin are the quieter and real
yeah.
ones um, that she has to let all of that down because she sees right through it. And then slowly throughout the season, I think that comes more into her default mode.
Mm. How about the scenes with her mother? Those were a little intense, huh?
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, I love Alex. She's so great, my mom. And we got coffee and talked all about kind of what our ideas of the family was and what our dynamic was like. And
Mm,
that was really helpful. And going into that scene in episode 10, where we're in the diner, that was like one of my favorite scenes because it was just two people talking to each other, and we both had life experience to sort of draw from on that.
mm,
Not that she's not a mother of a teenager, but we had a lot of other things that we could kind of filter in. And just that experience of telling your parents something so vulnerable.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were sometimes tough, and there were a few like that we didn't get to, that you don't see so much in the Firefly Festival. There was a little bit more of us, and we would kind of improvise as I walked off with her, and it just really helped make that dynamic real. And I just trusted her so much, which helped.
Mm. How about the scene when she confronts her ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, yeah. That okay, same thing. That scene was so fun. Miles and I
Yeah.
bonded immediately. We went for coffee like as soon as I was in Toronto, and I love him. And so yeah, that scene when we were preparing to film that, we ran lines, we talked about our history. We sort of did that throughout the season, but we had a whole, story for Kiara and Noah. And of course, it's so hard to let go of those people that are such a important part of your life, no
Yeah.
matter how much they fit anymore. It's just hard to restructure the the relationship. And so yeah, he and I had we had stories from when we were kids, that when we met, we
Yeah.
had our first Firefly together and like all those things, which just made that seem so much more real and brought it to life so much. And I think she's so comfortable with Noah that being comfortable with Miles and having that whole history kind of laid out really helped the scene. And it was
Mm,
just, again, one of those easy scenes where it's just two people talking to each other and it kind of came to life.
definitely. Now, in the series, there's a few different storylines that are happening. Also, like, what do you hope, like, when the viewers tune in, what do you hope they get out of Kiara's arc, her story? What do you hope they get out of it?
Well, I hope that people see that she's trying so hard to put herself in
Yeah,
this box in many boxes, and I hope that people can relate to that and the pressure that she wears as this person who people respect, and she's the mayor's daughter and all that stuff. And
yeah.
but then again, I hope people watch her go through that and then sort of see her start to drop it and test things out and find those people that she can be herself with. And I think Alicia becomes one of those people too. I just hope that people see as she drops those expectations and drops those tries, those the try hard moments, that
Yeah.
she is much happier and more herself. And she says it in the scene with Alicia in episode 10, like, I feel so much better, even
Yeah.
though my parents are being weird with me. And even though I feel a little bit unsettled, I'm just so much happier. And I think that
Mm,
that's the main thing I would want people to get from it for sure.
definitely. Is there anything you would change about Kiara if you could?
Ooh, well, I selfishly just wish she was like driving more, but
Maybe next season, who knows?
maybe next season. No, I think she's exactly who she's meant to be, and I think that I wish she was a little bit more vocal with Caitlin earlier, because I think she sort of misses the boat a little bit.
Mm,
But that's how life goes. You want to say something and you don't say it, and then you learn your lesson, and the next time you want to say it. So yeah, I hope she gets the chance to say those things.
mm. Would Johnna be friends with Kiara?
Ooh, I think present Johnna would feel bad for her at first, for sure.
Okay.
I would meet her and be like, "Oh, girl, like you're hiding some things, and you need to just sit and be with yourself." And
Mm,
but I would ultimately, I think, be friends with her. She is very nice, even when the Curtis stuff is happening, she's trying to be accepting of him, and she just feels like she can't, because if she's seen talking to Curtis, well then,
right.
what does that say about her? But yeah, I think I'd feel bad for her, but I would definitely want to take her under my wing a little bit.
Mm. Is there a specific episode or scene that sticks out to you the most that was your favorite this season?
God, they were all fun. I mean, the White Knuckle
Okay.
Run was really fun because we were shooting on location, and we were kind of in the middle of nowhere. And me and Michael and Sophia, who plays Ryan, we stayed in these like yurts, and so we
Mm,
had this kind of nature excursion. That was really fun. Obviously, Homecoming was really fun. They were all amazing in their own ways. And yeah, Homecoming was kind of just crazy because I had to like walk off of a stage into a sea of people, and I got to like pretend to be super popular for a
mm.
second. That was really fun. And all of those people, just like looking at you and clapping. And I'm like, oh my God, hey, like, thanks. Yeah. I don't know. They were all fun. It's hard to pick a favorite.
So now if the writers came up to you and said, "Hey, write down some ideas about season two," what would you want to see for like your character, you think?
Well, I just want to see more of her dropping these pretenses. I want to see her embrace the other sides of her that aren't just the popular girl.
Mm,
And I really want to see her speak her mind I would love to see her speak her mind to Caitlin. I would love to see her maybe try and bond more with the people that she formerly thought she couldn't. I mean, I think that like the relationship between her and Curtis is really interesting to me. And I wondered how much in elementary school and middle school they knew of each other, because his dad's the sheriff, my mom's the mayor. We'd probably see each
yeah.
other around a lot. I think that is a really interesting dynamic. I also just would love to see her, find the other things she loves. Maybe she does have some way into the racing world, even if it's just like being around and learning a
Yeah.
little bit or something. I think that would be it'd be fun to watch her find those things that bring her to life and bring her to herself.
Mm. Has there been any word on season two yet? Any updates or anything?
Well, not from my end. Well, I guess we're still all waiting to hear, but
Okay.
I God, I hope that it all works out, because there's
Yeah.
so many more stories to tell, and
Right.
I know that all of these characters have so many interesting places to go.
Mm. What's next
Yeah,
for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about? Are you taking a break? What's the plan?
no breaks.
No
No,
breaks. There
hit
you
the
go.
gas, man. Hit the gas, not the breaks. No, I did a movie last at the end of last year, so I'm really hoping that is on its way, and I'm just, auditioning and enjoying the ride of Motorheads and
Yeah,
trying not to look too far in the future. And yeah, just loving that. I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm just hoping that Motorheads has a life, and I hope that Kiara um and Caitlin have a life. I think that I just think it's such a special show and such a special
definitely.
relationship. I try not to look too far in the future and just enjoy this one while it's going.
Amazing. Well, John, I want to thank you for giving me today. This was great. I hope we see a season two, see the story continue. We'll have to get you back on.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully we'll
So.
have a lot to talk about.